If US presidents had Pokemon teams, what would they look like? And better yet, whose team would come out on top? I assigned 16 notable US presidents Pokemon teams that correlate to their life and presidency, and I'm going to crown one of them as the presidential Pokemon master at the end of this video. And while you're at it, throw a Pokeball at that like button or else I'm gonna get you. I was originally going to make a video about my favorite Pokemon, but then I thought, who cares? No, really. Who am I, you know? Look, here's my team. Look, there they are. There you have it. Alright, let's talk about something of substance and check out these presidential Pokemon teams. George Washington's team consists of Cherubi, because he cut down that cherry tree, Lapras, so he could ride it across the Delaware River, Glastrier, because he rode a horse, Cobalion, because Washington brought justice to the American people from those slimy British snobs, Bolton, because he owned several American foxhounds, a breed that he actually helped create, and out of every dog Pokemon, I thought Bolton resembled this breed the closest. And finally, Washington's ace is Braviary, because it's the most patriotic-looking Pokemon, and who else to guide this creature in battle, other than the father of our nation? Thomas Jefferson's team consists of Cricketune, because he played the violin, Chatot, because he owned a parrot named Polly, Lilligant, because he was a passionate gardener, Stoutland, because he owned a terrier at one point, Alakazam, because Jefferson is often thought of as one of the most intelligent presidents, and his ace is Groudon, and this one takes a little explaining. In 1803, Thomas Jefferson absolutely fleeced Napoleon in what is known as Louisiana Purchase. We got 530 million acres for pocket change. Jefferson paid around 4 cents per acre. Groudon is known as the land Pokemon, and because Jefferson secured all this land from France, this pairing makes perfect sense. While researching James Madison, nothing really stood out to me other than this guy really liked reading and writing. Lame. So this team would just be 6 unknowns that spell his name with an exclamation mark at the end. Spoiler alert, this team is going nowhere. Andrew Jackson's team has a Lechonk because he had a pet pig during his presidency. He's got a Rapidash because he really liked horseback riding. He has a Houndoom because he had dogs, but I gave him this Devil Dog, specifically for what he did to the Native Americans in what we know today as the Trail of Tears. And that was evil, so he gets an evil dog. The last 3 are all related in that they're all either crocodiles or alligators. Alligators are significant because Jackson led his troops in the Battle of New Orleans during the War of 1812, in which, apparently, the alligators made it hard for British forces to navigate through the area, which gave the Americans an advantage. Between Crocorock, Skeledirge, and Feraligatr, Jackson's ace is going to be Feraligatr because it's the only gator. Abraham Lincoln's team has a Trevenant and Timber because of his early days as a rail splitter. I gave him a Go-Goat because he had 2 pet goats while in office. Lincoln also had a dog named Fido, so of course I had to give him a Fido. Machamp is a nod to Lincoln's successful wrestling career. And finally, his ace is Mr. Rhyme, because we all know Lincoln enjoyed a good performance. Theodore Roosevelt's team has a Mudsdale and an Aegislash because he was often pictured riding a horse while wielding a sword. I also gave him the Summer Sawsbuck because he liked to hunt, but I'm hoping he doesn't shoot this deer and kill it. Hope it's his companion in battle, right? Roosevelt's creation of national parks and other conservation efforts are why he also has a Torterra. Since the name Teddy Bear comes from Teddy Roosevelt himself, he gets a Beware, and fittingly, his ace is Teddy Ursa. William Howard Taft's team has a Tauros because he liked burgers. He has a Granbull because it most closely resembles his bull terrier Caruso. He has a Marowak because of his love for baseball, and I feel pretty confident that Marowak would have a batting average well above 300. Something unique about Taft is that he is the only US president that has also served as the Chief Justice on the Supreme Court, so I gave him a Lucario because it's one of the more righteous Pokemon out there. To the common person, Taft stands out due to his big frame, and while I am going to give him a Snorlax for this very reason, His ace is Celio because they look the same. Franklin Delano Roosevelt's team has a Herdier because he had a Scottish Terrier named Fala. I also gave him a Pelipper because he was a passionate sailor. One of the greatest struggles during FDR's presidency was the Great Depression, and Roosevelt used a number of tactics to pull America out of this turmoil. FDR boosted morale through his fireside chats, in which he would debrief listeners on what was going on in Washington. This is why he has a Litwick. I also gave him a Wishy-Washy because, much like this fish, people were sad, but FDR was able to inspire everyone to come together and overcome their hardships, just like when Wishy-Washy uses the schooling ability. The future was looking less bleak, and more people were happy. Yeah, FDR was one of the harder teams to build, as I'm sure you can tell. Lastly, FDR's ace Pokemon is Karkle, because I think they could both bond over getting around on 4 wheels. Harry Truman's team starts out with a Voltorb and an Electrode because they're both bombs, and Truman bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end World War II. Truman also gets a Bombardier because he bombardiered Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I gave Truman an Exploud because the explosion from the bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were pretty Exploud. Truman's next Pokemon is Shaman. Shaman's Sky form because the bombs fell from the sky onto Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Truman's last Pokemon is Simisear. This Pokemon has nothing to do with bombs or planes, I promise. I gave Truman Simisear to be his ace because Simisear was voted as Japan's least favorite Pokemon from a 2016 survey. And I'd have to guess that Japan's least favorite US president is Harry Truman because he dropped the bombs on Hiroshima. Dwight D. Eisenhower's team is heavily inspired by the military, as he was the operation overlord of D-Day during World War II. This is why he has a Sharpedo, like torpedoes, a Magmortar, like a mortar, Octillery, like artillery, and Blastoise, which is essentially a cannon. Eisenhower's ace is Phalanx because he has a long history of commanding troops. I also gave Eisenhower a Cyclozar so he could ride it down the interstate highway system that he helped implement. John F. Kennedy's team has a Galarian Ponyta because he gifted his children a pony named Macaroni. And then this Yankee Doodle dandy over here had an affair with Marilyn Monroe. Okay, that was uncalled for, but did you know that Kennedy also once saved a man from drowning? He swam about a mile to reach the guy that had fallen overboard, hoisted him on his back, and returned him safely back to the boat. He did that all while recovering from back surgery, so giving him a Floatzel is a no-brainer. JFK was also very interested in space exploration, as evidenced by the creation of the Apollo program during his presidency. I gave him an LGM because this Pokemon's name is actually an acronym. LGM translates to Little Green Men, which refers to the common depiction of aliens being these weird-looking green things. When I think of aliens in early 60s media, which is, of course, when JFK was around, I think of Little Green Men. I also gave him a Reveroom that he could parade around in, and then I thought, well, he probably wants his wife, Jackie Kennedy, there too, so I gave him a Gardevoir. And then, what could his ace Pokemon be? I guess it could be. Oh my God! Get down, Mr. President! Intellion's about to use Snipe Shot! Oh my God! No! Richard Nixon's team has a Scizor because Nixon's signature double peace sign pose kinda looks like scissors. I gave him a Latios because Nixon was big on international affairs and he could use it to fly around. No president was as fascinated with China as Nixon, so I gave him a Pangoro because pandas are China's national animal. Now, Thievel can come in handy for trying to steal confidential documents from the Democratic National Committee headquarters, and when accused of doing such, Nixon told reporters that he wasn't a crook. Turns out he actually was a crook. So I've added Crocodile to his team. This would have been his ace, but then I realized just how closely Nixon resembles Giovanni, Team Rocket's leader. So I had to make Nixon's ace Pokemon Persian for that reason alone. When Ronald Reagan was a young man, he played football for Eureka College, so I'm giving him a Passimian. After football, Reagan was a Hollywood star for around 30 years. What's his best movie to date? You guessed it. Bedtime for Bonzo. That's a real movie. Anyway, I was thinking we make it Bedtime for Chimchar. So there's that, and by the way, for all the diehard trickle-down fans out there, go watch the sequel Bonzo Goes to College. It's Ronald Reagan isn't even in it, but it's real. Go watch it. Moving on, I'm giving him a Maractus because he always had that cowboy country feel to him. So I gave him a Cactus because I ran out of all the good horse Pokemon. Reagan was also the mastermind behind the proposed Strategic Defense Initiative that was later nicknamed Star Wars, in which these huge frickin' space lasers would protect America. So I'm giving him this huge frickin' intergalactic space lion, Solgaleo, because he's cool as hell. Ronald Reagan also gets Regice because he's the coldest president of all time.
Democracy that have marked the history of this city. America missed me.
And of course, Reagan is best remembered for his speech in which he ordered the president of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, to tear down the Berlin Wall. But if he had a Conkelder, he could be like, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Conkelder, use brick break." And then Conkelder would be all like, "Conkelder!" And then the wall would go, Alright, let's see what Bill Clinton's Pokemon team looks like. First off, we've got we've got Jinx. Wow, that's kind of a low blow. If you know, you know, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. Next up we have Lickitung. Yeah, Lickitung. I get it. That's funny. Okay. Up next we have Gulpin. Come on, Gulpin. Bill. What are we doing, Bill? That's disgusting. Okay, Gloom? Oh, not Gloom! Bill! Bill, show some restraint, man! Okay, what are we doing here? God, no! Alright, next, not Magikarp! What? What? Bill, what are we doing? That's a fish! Magikarp's a fish! No, Bill! Oh, God, that's disgusting, Bill. Okay. And his ace is... No! 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 Not Weeping Bell? God, no, Bill! Stay away from that thing, Bill! That's a plant! Oh, show some restraint, have some humanity! Stay away from that Weeping Bell, Bill! God, that's your ace? Oh, God, no!
What do you have to say for yourself, Mr. President?
I did not have sexual relations with that Pokemon.
Weeping Bell!
Get over
Mr.
here, you. I want another turn. I'm not done. I'm ready for round two. What Pokemon would Barack Obama have on his team? Obama was heavily involved with combating climate change during his time in the White House, so I thought Castform would be a fitting addition. This is also why he gets a Tornadus, but it's also a good fit because he's from the Windy City. Obama had two Portuguese water dogs named Bo and Sunny, and I think they kind of look like Furfrou, so he gets one of those. Obama also happens to be a big basketball fan, so there's no denying he'd want Durant on his team. Of course, if Obama wants to watch a good 1v1 game, he's gonna want LeBron James on his team too. Not the actual LeBron James, but a ditto disguised as him. Lastly, Obama's ace is Rotom, because how else is he gonna power his Obama phone? Donald Trump's team has Goldango and Meowth, as they are both closely associated with money. Speaking of money, a lot of it is going to go toward all of the stone journers he's going to line up at the south border, so he'll add one of those to his team. This may seem odd, but I'm also giving him a Ludicolo because they both like to dance. I'm also adding King Gambit because I'd like to think that his good buddy Shinzo would have wanted him to have one as a token of their friendship. Lastly, to the surprise of no one, Trump's ace is Gumshoes because look at it, it's him. It's the Donald Trump Pokemon. They have the same hair, look. That's all of the teams, but now, which one is the best? I did not have competitive team building in mind when putting these teams together. I was going strictly off of how well they connect to the presidents, but through my knowledge of competitive Pokemon, without a doubt, the best Pokemon team here belongs to Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson's team flashes some synergy with Groudon's Drought ability that sets up the Sun, which Lilligant can take advantage of with its Chlorophyll ability, which doubles its speed. Alakazam is also a nice, fairly fast option in the back, and the rest of his team is mid, but a lot of these teams are awful. The best Pokemon trainer president, the presidential Pokemon master, is Thomas Jefferson. And that is the video. This one took a long time to make, so if you enjoyed it, please leave a comment. Letting me know, like, what was your favorite part, or maybe you could just tell me your favorite Pokemon, something like that. And I was really stuffed up during this recording. I still kind of am now. I don't know why that is, but just wanted to address that. And I will be live streaming today on YouTube, hopefully. We are going to be playing Secret of the Mimic. It just came out today. New Five Nights at Freddy's game. I'm a huge fan of that franchise. So hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. I want to play it until I beat the game. I don't know if that's going to happen. Uh, but you should tune in and find out. And with that said, I'm Joe the Juggler. Thanks for watching, and until next time.